Hello everybody and welcome to the LEGO house. I'm here standing in the LEGO house in the history collection, and my name is Peter. I am a play agent here in the LEGO house. Today we have an awesome live session for you guys where we are going to go through our history collection, some of it, and I'll tell you a lot more about this in just a minute. First of all, I need to introduce our production team. We have me here, but also we have Maiken here. Maiken is in charge of our chat and will take care of all of your questions in there. But we also have Astrid here, and she is our producer today and making sure that everything works. And then we also have a tour guide, but I'll come to him in just a minute. Today we are joined by almost 3,000 participants from all over the world. And you have signed up for this, and if you have any question during this live session, then you can post them in the chat. Maiken will take care of these questions, and then we will try and answer as many as we can at the end of the session. We have 25 minutes to answer these questions here, and due to the amount of people that we have, we can't answer everything, but we will try to answer as much as possible. And we will also try to focus these answers on the questions that are about this session and this time period that we are focusing on today. But without further ado, I need to introduce our tour guide for today. He is a LEGO corporate historian. Yes, that's a real title. And his name is Christian, and he will take you through this live session. So Christian, come on in here and then we'll start this.
Thank you so much. Yes, and hello. And as Peter said, my name is Christian, a corporate historian here at the LEGO Group. So it is my pleasure again today to guide you through our next time period here in our exhibition. Maybe if some of you watched the last time, you can remember that this is actually where we sort of stopped the first session, and of course this is where we will start the second one. So we just introduced plastic and this fantastic plastic injection molding machine, which Ole, our master carpenter, he sort of put his foot down, said this is interesting. So we introduced plastic, and this is what this today's session is all about. It's going to be about how we sort of consolidate plastic after introducing it, and we have some nice highlights for you. So in my opinion, the two most important things that has happened in this company's history is something that happens here in this time period. But we will get to that. But first of all, I would like to start to introduce some early plastic products. So I'm going over here. So we have a little showcase here of some of the early plastic products. So these are from the late 40s and early 50s. Maybe also some of you guys can remember from last time that I talked a little bit about that one of the very early plastic products we introduced was a board game, a traffic board game where you could learn about traffic rules, a board game called Monopoly. Which was a thing, and the bricks for that board game was made out of plastic. So that's one of the very first plastic products we have. And again, we also have other beautiful ones. We have some very nice plastic animals down here, small plastic animals, and it's actually a mold for those that are in the machine over here. So what I want to focus on right now here is actually the box in the back here. That's a box of our first plastic bricks, launched in 1949. So back then we called our products, our bricks, automatic binding bricks. Nice name, right? So this is the first time we introduce a plastic brick. And that is really important for me to stress, that this is our first plastic brick, but this is not the first plastic brick. We do not invent the plastic brick. So that's very important for me to stress. That's not where we are special. That's not what we are really, really proud of. That is something that comes later on that I'm going to explain to you guys, of course. I'm sure you can guess what it is. But when we introduce our plastic brick, it is inspired by other plastic bricks out there in the market, and especially a British brick from a British manufacturer called Kittycraft. That was a brick that was given to Ole. We had a salesperson visiting Ole here in Billund, and in late 1947, and he brought with him some of these British plastic bricks, and they were interesting to Ole. You know, he felt they could something, so he wanted to make his own version of that, and that turned out to be these automatic binding bricks. And I just want to show you guys one of them, because I of course have one in my pocket. Who doesn't, right? So let's see here. I have this fantastic brick right there. Cool. So you can take a look at the bottom as well. That's also, and the thing was that the Kittycraft brick had round corners. This has sharp corners, so that was one of the changes that Ole he made to the brick, and that was because that he felt this brick, this is for, you know, for building houses, and that was what you really could do and excel with these bricks. But if your brick has round edges, then when you put a lot of them together and make a wall for a house, you get all of these cavities in your wall, and Ole didn't like that. So that's why he made the corners straight and pointy instead, so that they look more like bricks used in real houses. So that was one of the changes he made. He also changed the knobs slightly, but apart from that, you know, it looked like a lot of other plastic bricks out there. They very much looked the same, many of them. So this is our first plastic brick, and again, it's just one out of many products. We still produce a lot of wooden toys, and we have a lot of other plastic toys as well. So when we introduce this, is a small part of the company. But of course, later on, we start to devote a little bit more time and energy into these plastic bricks. But let's go over here, because I need to introduce you guys to a guy we have on a photo here. So we have him right here. This is Godfell Kirk Christiansen. So Godfell, he is the second generation owner of the company. So we have, maybe you can remember the dog story from last time, the ones who attended, the lesson on quality. You know, that was Godfell here. And Godfell, in 1950, Godfell becomes junior managing director of the LEGO Group. So that is really when he starts to really take over a lot of the responsibility here in the company. He also does this because his father, our founder, Ole Kirk Christiansen, he is quite ill during the 50s. So Godfell slowly takes over more and more of the control. Officially, Godfell becomes CEO in 1957. But in reality, it sort of happens gradually before that. So he's very, very important, and he is the one who comes up with two major game breakers for us, game changers for us here in the 50s. But the funny thing is that Godfell, in a Danish newspaper in the late 40s, I believe it was 49, Godfell is actually quoted for saying that, yeah, you can make nice, cute things with plastic, but wood is the stronger material. That's interesting, isn't it? So before jumping aboard, you know, the plastic train, right? He's a little bit more hesitant. So that also speaks to the importance of his father Ole. If he hadn't, really stuck with his gut and saying this material is interesting, who knows if Godfell had seen the light eventually, because we all know he does. But at first he was a little bit more hesitant. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So let's move up in time a little bit. So I want to talk about what we're looking at here. We are going to talk about these beautiful tractors right here. We have Ole here also holding a beautiful tractor. And the reason why I want to talk about these is that in late 1951, this is when the turnover, the sales of plastic products and wooden products break even. And so from that moment onwards, going into 52 and onwards, the sales of plastic starts to increase more and more in relation to sales of wooden toys. So that is when it really tips that balance. So of course that's interesting, and this is one of the reasons why this happens, because in autumn 1951 we introduced these Ferguson tractors. They came in a red and a gray version, and later on we also made some other versions. This one is the gold version, was to celebrate that we had sold 5,000 of these. So we made a limited edition of these. But these two are really cool. And they are the first plastic success that we have here in the company. So it's basically the money we make here. It creates the economic leeway for us to be able to develop our plastic brick further. So in that light, products like this is extremely important also when we talk about the history of our plastic brick and what that becomes eventually. So that's why I think these are really interesting to mention, and they are often forgotten. So hopefully I have made sure that we never forget them again. Really cool. One last thing, just because why did they become so popular? Well, that was because that after the Second World War, we received monetary aid, Marshall aid here in Denmark. And some of these money is going to sort of restructure and revamp the agricultural sector here in Denmark. Lots of farmers in Denmark. So all of a sudden, these farmers, they could afford to get these reliable, small Ferguson tractors. And you know what happens if, mom and dad has one, then the children want one too. So that was why these became a big success in the early 50s. So nice product. So moving on a little bit, I'm just going to talk about briefly about this, because again, going back to talking about the brick, we have a change in name here in the early 50s. From the early 50s, I believe it's 51, we start to supplement the name automatic binding bricks with another name, which is Lego Mursten. Mursten is one of the Danish names for brick. And a few years later, I believe around 53, we exclusively start to use the Lego Mursten name instead of the automatic binding bricks. So that's a switch right there. And again, slowly we start to see more and more potential in the bricks here, in the plastic brick. But again, please remember that it is just one out of many hundred products that we have in our portfolio at this point in time. But slowly we are starting to see interesting things here. So now we are going on a little journey, because we are moving quite far back in the exhibition. So if you will follow me, I will move us over here, because I have something I want to show you guys over here as well. So I'm backing and backing and backing. Here we are. So this is just to sort of serve as a reminder you know. So again, we are talking a lot about plastic in this session here, but I just